Hello, it's me, your cleric from the Church of Cage. Once again, we are here to talk about another cagey delight from the gospel this year from 2006, and it's a big one. It is religion meets paganism, but no mention of religion. It is The Wicker Man, a remake of the classic 1970s film starring Christopher Lee. How is this one going to fare? Well, I already know, because I've recorded this episode about a week ago now, I think. I've lost track of time since then. For any of you who care, I've been in Berlin, and so much of an idiot, in fact, that I didn't realise that it was the International Berlin Film Festival whilst I was there. Me and my girlfriend looked at each other dumbfounded and just kind of like, oh, I didn't bloody know, did you? No, neither of us knew. And the first thing that actually crossed my mind was, I wonder if there's any Nicolas Cage films being shown at the festival, because that would make my bloody year. That would be fantastic. Imagine trying to see one of those, or even better, that would mean the man himself would be in town, and I would have probably nosedived my romantic break with my girlfriend into a trip of me just blindly running around Berlin, trying my hardest to meet and speak to Nicolas Cage. But yeah, that was fun. I had a lovely time, for those of you, again, who care. But let's get on to the matter at hand, and that is this little old film. Whew. But before we get into it, I'm going to take a nice little wander over to the Cageogram, the Cage Anagrams, provided, as always, by @Thomas_W_Hunter with this week's anagram. And it is like the stars have aligned. There must have been a sacrifice made to the gods, because he has harvested us a fantastic anagram this week, which is Remake with NC. The stars had definitely aligned. This was meant to happen. Nicolas Cage, all them years ago, when he was thinking what he should do with his life, a little bit of pagan magic seeped down into him, whispered in his ear one evening and said, "You must go into acting and you must ruin a classic beloved horror film from the British Isles and use 80% of the script and butcher it and make it horrible, but make it fantastic at the same time, because it's produced possibly one of the greatest clips the internet has ever seen and has some very odd political messages. A film that I feel in this year would be not a very good move, because it seems that this film has a lot against women. But I'm sure me and my fantastic guests, Tim Hornsby, who did the Nicolas Cage Superman illustration for me, which I always make these promises, but I will actually post that today when you're listening on the, the bloody 20th of February. I will be posting that on social media for you all to have a look at. Go follow Tim. He is amazing. You can see all of his comic book work. He is fantastic. He is a lovely guy as well. Very insightful, as is my other guest on this week, who is Bob. I do a little bit of an introduction in the actual episode, but Bob is a legend. I love talking to him about stuff. He's a fellow podcaster, so kind of gets what I'm trying to achieve with this crazy concept. And he is from Tonight with Bob and Joe. If you're not listening to those guys, I don't know what the fuck you are doing, because they have odd and interesting guests every week, but they just have a fantastic chemistry, the both of them. I will get Joe back on the podcast, and Bob is I first had him on the podcast to talk about Face Off in a Caged In commentary episode, and I can confirm that that will be happening again. We are just ironing out the details of when that will be. So that is all of it from me. Now, get in, listen to me, Bob, and Tim. Have a little chinwag, assemble our sticks, build our little effigies, and burn this fucking film to the ground. Hello, guys. We are here this week to talk about the big one. Possibly the decline, like this is the apex of the decline of Nicolas Cage's career. Possibly because he tread upon sacred ground. We are here to talk about The Wicker Man. And when I say we, I'm not talking about some kind of spiritual we. I am talking about some actual human people. I'm joined by Tim, who has done some amazing artwork for me. How are you tonight, Tim?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
I'm going to ask this. I know, I'll ask that question in a minute, actually. And I'm also joined by Bob. How are you, mate?
I'm great, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you may remember Bob from such episodes as the Face-Off commentary episode, as well as The Weatherman, which was like 2-3 weeks ago. I totally don't know. This is coming out in a couple of weeks. I don't know when he bloody was on now. So like a month ago, maybe. I don't know. But I'm going to ask you both. So start off with Tim. Had you ever seen this film before?
This particular film I haven't seen, so I'm going in fresh.
Nice.
With this one, with the remake. we'll see.
And Bob, yourself.
But I think, I don't know if I can say I've ever watched it all the way through. I think what I've done is I've watched little segments, and there's a very famous YouTube video that sort of assembles all those bits. I've seen that a lot of times, but never in a sort of a whole sense from beginning to end. So it'll be interesting to see how it stands up as an actual fucking story.
Well, like, is the reason you haven't watched it all the way through because just you were overwhelmed with the need to masturbate?
I think honestly, I just get the feeling.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. I don't know that there is just a feeling. I mean, we could talk about this a little bit more afterwards, but I do get the feeling that the director of this movie really loved the original Wicker Man. It's just hard to see it.
Yeah.
There's enough.
I've been like actively avoiding this.
Yeah.
For what, going on 10 years now. I'm a big fan of the original, and I'm a bit trepidatious actually because I'm like,
Well, that like you say that is essentially like my week to week now is like, so people keep telling me like obviously avoiding things, so I have to avoid like Nicolas Cage current news like the plague. Like, my girlfriend yesterday started to say like, I saw a trailer for Looking Glass. It looks. I was like, shut the fuck up. Like I will put this relationship on the rocks just for this podcast.
Yeah.
Like it's getting a bit out of hand. But like also like I don't know. Just don't like I have seen this film and. I've seen. I've seen I think it's on Netflix. So any of you at home who watch along, if you're fucking idiots, I think this is on Netflix in the UK. In America, I don't know. You could probably pick it up in a bargain bin though, or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
I would imagine you can definitely find it in a bargain bin.
Yeah,
anywhere.
But I'd seen the theatrical cut, and we are delighted with the director's cut this evening.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
we're getting is it longer?
I don't know. All I know is that there is. I'm not going to tell you actually. No, there is a juicy little nugget for you to come. It would have been bloody brilliant.
Gosh,
if
I don't know if this is a good time to talk about this, but are you aware that there was going to be a sequel to this film that was done by a completely different director, a Japanese director, where he wanted to have Nicolas Cage come back as a ghost and then haunt Tokyo?
Wow, that's
blown
my
mind.
So after watching it, try to imagine how that narrative would.
Yeah, because I'm not aware of much about this movie except I do think I know what happens at the end. Which makes me think a sequel. Yeah, well,
Well, that leads me into like, there's only one thing left to do really.
Let's watch this fucker.
Yeah, we're gonna get raging with Cage. Kill the drone. Kill the drone. Kill the drone. It's something we heard a lot whilst watching The Wicker Man. We are back. Boys, how did you enjoy it?
Fuck. Oh, yeah.
Tim?
Well, it was. Yeah, we got through it. And Bob didn't fall asleep this time. So,
Or masturbate.
Yeah.
I was close at many points.
And Bob, what did you make of this?
It's about as fucking sacrilege as you could get in terms of a remake, but in some ways it is entertaining. I do naturally, a part of me enjoys watching Nicolas Cage cycle around an island, punching women in the face. I just enjoy that.
When I saw that this was the director's cut, like having seen the theatrical version, I wasn't sure. Like I was just there, like on tenterhooks, going, "Oh, what's new? What's new? What's old? Like what's going on?" Which probably says, well, this film is directed by Neil LaBute. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Who? Let's see what else this man has directed.
Tim, I think you described it earlier as his career starting, sort of went up and then...
Yeah, it seemed to be like he was on the up. Then this film come out, and then...
Everyone lost their faith in fucking LaBute.
So after this, he did a film called Lakeview Terrace.
Oh, yeah, we've all seen that.
Yeah,
that one.
And Death at a Funeral.
Yeah.
What, the remake?
I think there's a British version,
and then there's
an American
Is that the one with the dwarf that comes out of the coffin?
Yes.
I sort of have strange fever dreamish memories of that.
So has the.
So he got to make another remake after.
Well, I'm not sure which one is the remake and which one is the original.
I think the British one's the original.
Yeah, so they gave him
such a good job that they.
Yeah, so
they went.
That was he was in the pitch, and he was like, "Wow, I don't know if you've seen my previous work."
But
yeah, go on.
Shall we talk about what the fuck happens?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
In the Wicker Man, so it starts just right off out of the gate, just kind of like someone's left the camera rolling, and like it's a couple of guys like knocking about in a diner. You got Nicolas Cage. His character is Edward.
Edward something. It's not Woodward. Is it Edward? Is it Edward Howie?
No, it's Edward. Oh fucking hell!
It's not Howie, is it?
It doesn't matter. It's
Howie's in the original. I don't. God knows.
Yeah. Do you see how they kept mixing all the names around? So Edward is like Edward Woodward.
Yeah.
The girl's called Woodward.
Oh, we're gonna have to get right. Like this is something I wanted to.
That is actually something I found out from the good people over at IMDb with their trivia section that Edward Woodward was actually offered a role in this film.
Wow.
And declined, but said that it had a decent script. So I'm not sure which draft he saw, because it is not the shit that we saw up on that screen. Neil LaBute's homage to Edward Woodward was to change the character of Rowan's surname to Woodward. And to call Nicolas Cage's character Edward. So nice little
but it's ridiculous. If you're a fan of the original or the classic version, as we should call it, that was their little Easter egg to you to say, look, we've seen it, we've seen the original. Here you go, and it's
it's like we've seen that.
That's not much of a fucking Easter egg.
Really, it's fucking bullshit.
It's more of a slap in the face, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
At points, there was so much in this film which is clearly designed to mirror what's going on in the original film. Just little moments and things like that. I almost wondered why they didn't get rid of that stuff and just come up with their own versions, because it's so different in every other way.
No. But here is something you wouldn't believe, as again quoted from IMDb. A lot of the dialogue, perhaps as much of 80% or more, is word for word the same as the original Wicker Man.
Wow.
Albeit sometimes in different context. So let's break that down for a second.
I noticed that sometimes.
This film is the mirror image of the first one, if the mirror is like a shit-stained funhouse mirror. And it's just
Well, that's what I don't get. You can't take something like... you can't take something like... I have a dream out of context, like meaning about just having a dream. It does not have the gravitas of the speech that Martin Luther King made.
Yeah. Can I also just say, just at the very opening of the film, the opening shot is of Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah.
Why? I don't think he's not in the rest of the film. I was like, I don't remember him in this film. And then he just goes, "Oh, here's your check-in" or something. He's like, "Yeah, see you later."
Yeah,
and then
rocking a killer stash. Well, the thing is, was he, like, at this point, was he a big name? I know, obviously, like,
must have been.
The Dark Knight was when he, like, rocketed to everyone knowing him. But like, he's not a young guy. Like, you would have thought he would have been jobbing a bit more than just, like...
Dude in Diner 1. Like.
Yeah, exactly. And should we talk about, like, the credits in this?
We've got to start with the credits.
The credits to this, like, the text on screen is in the classic font... Papyrus.
What things are used? What things do you see papyrus font used in? Shit wines.
And Avatar.
Awkward Greek restaurants. Avatar.
Yeah. There's a brilliant SNL sketch about someone who is obsessed that papyrus is used for Avatar, and it's played by Ryan Gosling. It's like, if you have the chance to, like, look that up on YouTube, like, guys in the room, and obviously you guys at home. Check it out, it's fucking great. And he's like stalking the guy who like the graphic designer who's like, it's fucking lazy. And that's what they done here, it's lazy.
The font, it's like, this is a perfect synecdoche of this whole fucking shit show. Because it's somewhat reminiscent of the font that's used in the original Wicker Man. However, it lacks any originality, and they've just gone, boop, and put in this generic piece of shit font.
Is Papyrus a like Windows like staple?
Oh yeah, you know,
But the font you're talking about is just the one that you see, which is actually the font for both films, right? Both this new Wicker Man and the old one. The main title font is the same, is it?
Wait, no. I think they've kind of sharpened the logotype.
Unnecessarily.
But there's the Wicker Man definitely. I remember it definitely has a kind of like a sort of a papyrusy look.
A proto-papyrus.
It was before word processing, so it was presumably designed, whereas this is just, that looks like it, that's the one.
Papyrus has that quality to it where it looks like sort of something's taken chunks out of it.
Oh, yeah. Presumably because it's like ancient papyrus.
Carved into a fine wood.
Yeah.
By the ancient ones. And we see Edward going about his day-to-day bits and bobs as a like highway cop, and I just want to talk about his leather jacket that just like looks like it's straight from the prop store, like nothing to do with like he's not working in it.
It's fucking brand new.
And as he's riding along, a car passes him, and a doll drops out of the window, and he does like. I was fucking impressed.
Yeah, he
just leans down and swoops it up, and then like puts on like the siren, and he's like, pull over. Manages to get the woman to pull over.
Yeah, why is he pulling her over? Just because the doll dropped?
Yeah, the doll.
Because that's illegal, is it?
I don't know. I think he's
out of a window.
Like, you can't be littering.
I think he's just trying to be
accident. Charles obviously done it as an accident. There's no need to pull them over, right?
I think he's just trying to be a nice guy. Give the doll back.
But she's pretty nervous. It's like, what's in the doll? Like when he pulls her over, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I'm so." And it's like, well, yeah. Presumably, if you kids just chuck the doll out, you're not going. You just be, "Oh, thanks for that." But she's like proper sketchy.
Well, she
doesn't seem to like pick up on that though.
She's sketchy. The daughter is a fucking arsehole. The moment he gives the doll back, she just throws it back into the road.
I just realised that I don't understand the relevance of this scene in the film.
I think that might be a theme we constantly.
Maybe like the original, as you guys were explaining to me, there is elements of this film that is lost to the ethers of time underneath a motorway that joins London to Brighton, somewhere upon the M25.
Well, let's pray that they never find it.
It's relatively. Another thing, this is a relatively short director's cut. Like, this is really like the fat has been trimmed, and like I also read on IMDb that there was like, it was originally cut like as a hard R, like a real violent, and apparently Neil LaBute was like, no, you know what, this film isn't about atmosphere, isn't about scares, isn't about like doing the vision I set out for. He was like, I want a wider audience. I want to line my pockets with as much cash opening weekend as I can, because everyone will realise that it's a fucking turgid piece of shit. Let's get the money as quick as we can. And then
what could have been in the hard R version? I'm really excited by that.
I'm guessing that is what we've watched.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, apparently they took
that's
out...
an 18, is it?
It's a 15. It's a 15. Yeah. But that, like, it was a PG-13 in the US, so like equivalent to a 12A here.
Yeah.
Which is
so no leg, no
yeah.
So do you reckon they took out that weird kick he did? Like, do you reckon that's the only thing that when he
really
kicks, like just bizarre. It comes out of nowhere. Like he's not a physical specimen in this film, really. Isn't it?
I feel that there's certain moments in this that have been like left in under the instruction of Nicolas Cage to Neil LaBute. Yeah, like this paints me in a good light. Like it's almost like a show reel for like, look, I can kick a door in.
Still do it.
We're like, let's have that in there. But yeah, upon speaking to this single mother and her daughter, he gives the doll back, and then he goes to like, I don't think, just go pick up his bike and get on his way, and then out of fucking nowhere, a truck hurtles into their car, straight off the road, straight into flames. I never get this with cars. Like, I don't know much about car crashes.
I don't really want to.
I get all my knowledge about cars from Grand Theft Auto, so I think when they've gone upside down, they immediately go on fire. And
And you got about 10 seconds to run away. But like, this is probably one of the most like creepiest moments in the film, is when he's trying to save the young girl from the back of the car, and she's just staring at him. Like, there's a real sinister element to that.
Because it's quite a sense of peril is created where he can't get the mum because it's still like like an inferno. So he goes in the back, gets his motorcycle helmet, and just like bashes in, reaches out his arm to the girl, and she's like totally reticent to take it before the whole thing goes up.
That made me think that's really durable glass. That glass. I was also thinking it's so awkward. It's like acetate or something. It's not quite coming out.
Well, I think it's like that. It's got that kind of like, I think it's like heated. They've got those like strips across it to like, I don't know if it's like a heated window. So like,
it gets
obviously in
cold.
the snow that it can withstand. It can heat up the window. So I don't know what's going on. Again, I don't know much about cars. I don't know how easy it is to set one on fire.
I love that we're talking about this. He really says something.
We've got a couple of
It's just three dudes talking about cars.
We've got a couple of issues of Auto Trader, or check out, or is that a 1 Series? Whoa, bloody hell! And then,
but the car fucking blows up.
Yeah, and then it's just Cage knocking about. Like, this scene to me felt very much like a B-roll thing of just him knocking about in his like civvies, just sitting about in his like. Definitely doesn't look like a lived-in.
Yeah, he sweats.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like he's in a lived-in apartment, does it? It kind of just looks like
it's a room,
an IKEA sort of.
A showroom. Like Neil LaBute's like, I got a favour. I got a mate who works at IKEA. We got 20 minutes. We got 20 minutes on one of the showrooms. Get in there, get out, and just the awkward exchange when one of his colleagues comes round to say like, there's been loads of letters for you. Was
that a colleague? I thought that was supposed to be his like ex-girlfriend or something.
No, it's a colleague, and he's just...
awkward pauses, they go on for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They're staring at each other and she's just looking around the room, she looks left, she looks right.
What?
And I'm just what is going on?
And as soon as he invites her in, he's like, well, you don't have to stay. You can fuck off if you want. It's like, it's more like, she's here to... You've been through a traumatic time. Like, the thing is, though, I don't know why he's so, like... shaken up about this. Obviously, what as a policeman, exactly? You would see. I imagine savage things day in day out. Like a car wreck is.
But who was the
truck? Something about
who was the truck? who was in that truck? Why did the truck just drive back? 'Cause it drives normally once, and then it comes back and smashes the car. And then who was the little girl? And why is she got the same red jumper as the girl from later on? Is there any fucking purpose to it?
I think what it is it's like highly literate foreshadowing of the sort of desperate plight that he's gonna have to undergo.
Right.
You know, it's part of the hero's journey. You know. So.
Well, yeah, and then he receives a letter, which I have a problem with when he's reading this letter, is that the voiceover is going slower than he's obviously reading it, because on screen we see him read the letter, turning it over, looking at the photo attached with it, yet the voiceover is still going. Like, that's not normally how this kind of works in films. Like it's like again, I imagine the director's cut. He's like, shave off as much fucking time as we can. Let's get rolling. Yeah. Let's get ready for that ending that everybody knows is coming a fucking mile off, because it's on the poster. It's on the post. Like, come on, like.
Yeah, you know where it's going.
Oh, also, can I just say one more thing about this scene? And I don't know if you guys can answer this for me as well. So while he's sitting there with the lady cop who's come to check on him, you can hear neighing horses in the background for the whole thing. Loads of neighing horses, like, in the background, and I was like, did she come in on a horse? Did she ride in on a horse? And then I was like, did I miss that? Was I looking down? Was I looking at my beer? I couldn't work it out. But there's loads of neighing horses.
But he's like a cop in the big city. They talk
about
he's
in California.
So
why are there horses? And I mean, I'm not insane. I tell you this is the case.
You might be, because I don't remember that.
I was like, what's going on with these horses?
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh no! Actually, I think I know what it is now. Is he watching a TV program about horses? With like cowboys and horses or something.
Hey, mate. Whoa.
Oh, I think that's it, actually. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
I think I know what it's about.
That's what we're here for. We're here to work things out.
Why did they have that, though? Why did they just not switch off the TV and not have the neighing horses? Anyway, go on.
Yeah.
And the letter had exclaimed how, like, his ex-girlfriend is back on the island she's from. And, like, she kind of just casually, like, in the letter just says, oh yeah, I'm from Somers Isle. You know, you wanted to know that the whole time we were going out. Well, that's where I'm from. Now it's relevant. Like my daughter's missing. Come on over. Like she's we stopped going out 9 years ago. She's 8 years old.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Yeah.
It's essentially a long-winded booty call, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like. New address. It's just the new address with a question mark and a winky face.
He's like, the old missing daughter one. All right, I got you. Yeah.
She had two decisions. It was that or WUU2 with a question mark. We all know. Or still up. 3 a.m. 3 a.m. letter by courier. Still up.
Beautifully handwritten papyrus font.
Yeah. Lovely penmanship.
They're
doing something right on Somers Isle.
Yeah,
there's some beautiful penmanship.
The letter was actually really well written. Credit where credit's due.
And this spurs on Edward to go to the police station to talk to one of his colleagues by the name of Pete.
My favourite part of I've just written Pete the prick. Because basically, it's just fucking odd. Like he's in an office, right? So you think, he's got some authority in the California Police Department, wherever it is, and he's just like, but blows him. No, that sounds like shit. What? It's your ex. What are you doing? Why can't she get the kid's husband to do it?
It's when he first explains to him about it, and he's like, the exact quote is, he's like, whoa. He's like, this is like a new chapter, and he's like, I didn't even realise you had a plot.
And then what does Nicolas Cage say?
He kind of just shrugs it off.
Doesn't he say, do you know that? He's like, I know, or something.
Yeah. He's like, always a boring cunt. But he stole it for me. I was like, I want to see what fucking Pete's up to. Like, he's like, I don't know.
Doesn't he even suggest he's like, oh, what? Oh, she got a kid. Why didn't you blow her off ages ago?
No, he's just there. He's almost like the voice of the audience at this point, because he's like, you can see in like Edward's face that he's considering going to Summerside, and he is just like what you're thinking at home, just going, no, fuck it off, mate.
He could have been like Edward, mate. You've just come out of a really traumatic event. Why don't you chill out at home a bit more? He's not like that. He's just like, blow off this bitch.
But it's a real electric performance.
Oh yeah.
I feel like he was like given like, you know what, we got you for an afternoon. He was like, all right, it's my big moment to shine. I've got one of the big directors. I've got Neil LaBute.
You notice they get him to say Summer Isle about as many times as he can. He's like, Summer Isle.
Oh yeah,
like the Amish, yeah, Amish man.
I bet they still got dial up.
Yeah, I felt like I was missing a joke as well. Like he's like summarising, and like Nicolas Cage just smirks. Like, yeah,
it's the name of a
it's not fun. It's just it's a fucking normal. Yeah, Pete.
Well, like that is another thing you mentioned upon like the humour in this film. Apparently, like Nicolas Cage has come out against the critics of this film for finding it humorous. He's done a Tommy Wiseau on this by saying like, me and Neil LaBute had actually purposely made this a black comedy, which to me feels like some retcon bullshit of yeah. You know when I came into the party and I tripped up onto the table, smashed my face, knocked everyone's cocaine and drinks onto the floor. I meant to do that. Hey, I'm a fucking wacky dude.
I'm a performance artist.
Yeah. I'm David Blaine. I didn't mean to hang myself in the bath. And then Edward is off to Summers Isle. And this is one of many scenes where he kind of has these flashes of stuff we have seen, literally.
I thought it was kind of madly well done, because it's a truck on a boat hitting a girl off the boat.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've never even thought about that before. The idea of that even being, even in a dream sense, I never thought about it. I sort of thought they did that well. The truck literally is on the front of the boat and it hits the girl off the boat.
But like, there is moments in this, like this, with like, just... it almost felt like I was looking in a mirror, because like Nicolas Cage's like face is just perplexed. Like there are many moments throughout this film.
He keeps taking pills and drinking.
Well, it's just like the camera is like left rolling. It's like they've caught him between takes, and he's like trying to fucking work out like what the fuck is going on.
That's about to happen. That
and he's going like he's there, sat there, going what the fuck is going on? And it's like, that's what I'm thinking.
But also, then also in that moment you realise it is a dream, obviously, but there is a girl with a red jumper there as well.
Wait, I think this is a bit sort of like Don't Look Now.
Yeah.
But
ironically, of course, Don't Look Now was the B movie. Yeah. Or Wicker Man was the B movie.
But Wicker Man, they released it as the B movie to the
maybe that must be they must be referencing that.
See, another Easter egg, shitty Easter egg.
But like the thing is, why make Easter eggs to better films?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Because it's a pile of shite, and
I think it's like slow waving to your heroes, but obviously like from in a pile of shit, in the portal of a festival, waving up to your heroes. Like.
And like on the boat, he gets off, and one of many quotable moments when he sees the pilot of an airplane who takes the supplies to Summer Isle.
I was impressed that they tried to get the plane looking like the original plane.
Yeah,
it's not painted the same, but it is the same kind of plane. They could have done a bunch of other shit, but they really liked that clearly. Another example of what I want to say, I know you were saying earlier that he chatted shit about various elements of the Wicker Man and the soundtrack, but clearly he loves enough about it. He's like, we're gonna get that fucking plane right.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, go on.
I imagine the plane thing is like like it serves the plot though to have a biplane. There's something that we will discuss later on. Yeah. But upon meeting the pilot, Nicolas Cage delivers the line, "Ahoy there!" then it's very quickly like he's brought up on it like he should be. Like, why the fuck did you say that? He's like, hello would have been fine.
He's like, I don't know what we're supposed to say. It's like, is that supposed to make us feel better about like Nicolas Cage? There, we're like, oh, come on, man.
I don't know. He seems quite smug with everything he does, though.
It's almost like they're trying to make him an innocent Christian without ever mentioning Christianity. They're like, he's so innocent, he doesn't know how to say fucking hello to someone.
He's just going, I don't know, he's using arcane
Sailor
greetings, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Good day to you, sir.
Good morrow, sir.
Guys, what the fuck?
And he manages, like, he's trying to just like reason with the guys, like, you gotta take me over to Summer's Isle, and then just very quickly he's like, how about you take us? And like very knowing look, he's like, what do you mean us? And he's like, oh, me and my friend Ulysses C. Grant and Benjamin Franklin.
And the guy's like, let's rock.
Yeah. So not like, again, as much as it's built up that he's like a Christian man, he's knocked it straight fucking down.
That is literally bribery. He's not even a good cop at that point.
Yeah.
Arsehole.
I imagine like this kind of like, I don't know, I like to see this as a prerequisite for Bad Lieutenant, a film I will be talking about in a few weeks.
I kept thinking about I'm excited about that.
They could have just asked if there was a toll. Like, do I have to pay to go over?
He was like, no, I don't want to lose my business. I don't want to lose my business with the cult ladies.
The cult ladies.
And then he manages to land on Summer Isle, and he's just like stumbling around in the bushes for a couple of minutes, like, and then seems to just walk up from where the plane was anyway, which I don't fucking get. It's like of all the shit you've cut out of this, supposedly, like, why are you leaving this shit in? Just have that moment of him coming up and bumping into the locals who. They're fun, aren't they? They're a fun bunch.
I've got to say, as much as I love the original Wicker Man, I know that this film shits all over it. I actually thought they did this scene all right, that opening scene, because of course we got the three ladies here. We got the three ladies who representative of the three sort of fisherman sailor types who are like, oh, we don't know about this, and they kind of probably mirror word for word a lot of their lines or sort of change them slightly. But they all kind of did a good job of doing that. Yeah. And the bloody bag, I mean, it does add something to it, at least within this version, because I was like, what the fuck is in this bloody bag?
Yeah. So, although, like, they're so knowing, though, whereas it's sort of simpletons in the other film.
Yeah, he's like, look at the photograph. Yeah. He's like, you have to look at it. What did he say?
Yeah. He's like, well, you might want to look at the photograph before saying no.
Yeah, she sort of like looks off in the middle distance with like a knowing smile, like, no, I've never seen it.
Yeah. There's a lot of like winks to camera in this of like, oh fucking, got everyone over on you.
It's a good example of a scene where basically this stuff with LaBute clearly thought that the original wasn't scary enough, so he has to add something scarier to it. He's like, okay, so we've got these three kind of spooky people, but it's not really spooky, so let's fucking have a bloody bag of wriggling flesh to like really get the audience know you're in a fucking horror movie now, boy. Like, but to be fair, it worked on me because I was like, what is in this bag?
We never found out though.
No.
Like it fucking squirmed. He shit himself and walked off.
You've
just seen blood come out of the fucking bag.
It could have been the child he was looking for.
Yeah.
Have a look.
In the photograph, we should have said at least like took the gun out right now, be like, look, I'm looking in the bag.
Well, that's the thing as well. Is like the bag wriggling, the kind of the attempt at a jump scare. It's just them playing like a classic prank. Do you know what I mean? Like your dad going like, come here, and a hand on the shoulder. It's like a very like, and he's just like, oh fucking hell, they got me. On to the next band of nutters. And he finds that band of nutters in the local bar.
Oh my god!
And a brilliant, again, another fantastic like opening line. He's kind of like narrating his own life. He's like, must be ladies' night because Summer Isle is populated majoritively by women named after plants or trees. And the first lady he manages to bump into is Sister Beach, who is played by an actress who we all thought was Kathy Burke.
Yeah.
And it's not Kathy Burke. She is
Well,
just...
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates, yeah, well, Kathy Burke. Who's she?
It's like Waynetta in it from...
Oh, fucking hell, yeah.
It's like Neil
Yeah,
LaBute.
definitely not her. Kathy Bates, that's what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Which, like, again, there is a moment in this film that reminds me of a fantastic Kathy Bates film. And again, why are you letting us know about films that are so much better? And out of nowhere, Willow turns up. The Willow who had written Edward the letter to get him over to Summer Isle. And, like, she's just, like, she looks suspicious from the get-go. Like, I don't know about you guys, but she's just like, at first, it's like, oh, is she worried? Is she scared about what the
She's
the
just
locals are
very,
going
she's
to
heavily illuminated. They've
Yeah.
like just put all the sort of the unnatural, semi-natural light on her, and suddenly he's like, "Wow, baby." Suddenly he's like, "Oh," and that's your introduction to it.
do? Yeah, and he manages to get a room at the inn, unlike
But this is,
Mary and Joseph.
but yeah. Go on,
He's like,
go on.
oh, can you swing me a room? What?
Yeah.
What?
She's like, what? What do you want? Swing? Is that some big city saying?
Yeah.
He means, can we manage? Can we manage to have a room for him?
And he manages to get a room, but not first without having a nice, tasty mead.
Yeah.
Which is,
Oh my God.
if you didn't know what mead is made of, it's like honey,
Oh.
barley, and some other stuff. And he
Oh, yeah.
he fucking essentially just swings his dick out onto the desk in the form of his badge, just whacking it against the desk like, I just want to let you guys know I'm a fucking cop and I'm here to fucking get answers, so you fuckers better let me know what I'm fucking here for.
It's such a weird scene. I think it was in that scene I was like, oh God, if you had any illusion that this film might be good, it's that scene where you're like, nah, there's no fucking way this scene is so bad, so fucking hokey. Oh.
And just before he's about to go to his room, he kills a bee that is on the desk, and the people of Summer Isle are not happy about
They
this.
say, why did you do it, Nicolas Cage? And he says,
I'm allergic. As we've talked about foreshadowing.
Yeah, at which point I go, allergy, you say?
And then, like, he manages to meet Willow by... I just found it great that it was called The Place Beyond the Point. It just reminded me of the...
the place beyond the point.
Yeah. He's like, meet me at the place beyond the point.
Can I just make an important point about Willow here? It's interesting because in the original film, Willow is actually a saviour character. She's trying to stop Agent Howie from going to the Wicker Man. She's trying to warn him. And this whole sort of sexy dance thing, which is like, come to my room, is a sort of elaborate way of sort of protecting him. And trying to get him to leave, and I think she literally says you should leave at one point, and he's like, "Oh, what fucking whatever," you know, kind of thing. Whereas in this film, they make her into someone who seems like that at first, but is just generally just another villain.
Yeah.
And I think that's so sad because that's one of the things in the original Wicker Man, among many wonderful things. But I love that this character that you initially think, oh, she's an occult witch, she's trying to seduce this Christian. Actually, she's doing it for good reasons. She just doesn't want him to die.
Yeah.
You know, even though she's there at the end as well. But you know what I mean? There's a feeling of.
I mean, it is. Yeah, it's a strange. It's strange to kind of reallocate some of these names into the roles, like all the way through. You get this kind of like, it's like a really bad remix of.
It's like someone took a fucking play and then they sort of cut it up and put it into different areas, and they're trying to like get some fucking idiots to make it, you know, in a PE hall. It's
and then
like,
give them a bit of dialogue that is from later on in the movie now, just because of
exactly.
the sake of it. Like,
And like, back to the film, like, he's like talking to Willow and she's kind of giving him like nuggets of information, but like conveniently can't give him everything he needs to know because the plot just doesn't allow it. Do you know what I mean? He's like, you hear that sound? I must go. I will talk to you on the morrow. And we can't talk now. We'll talk later. We'll talk later in another shady looking part of the island. And he goes back to his room and finds out that like tapes from his bag are missing, and the tape is called "Everything Is Gonna Be Okay."
What is that about?
I'm assuming it has to be some type of like self-help, like tape.
Well, he picked it up in the diner before all the business with the car accident. Like that. That's the first thing we see him do when he's in his shiny jacket.
Oh wow!
He flicks through there's like a rack of these self-help. Flicks through, finds that one. We get a good look at it.
But he bought that before the car accident.
Yeah.
So he needed that self-help tape before the accident.
Yeah.
Why? Surely it seemed that he
Rough
had it all
life.
together before that.
I feel like there is some like one of the things, I do not care what happens to Edward's character because I know nothing about him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
nobody,
he's like, there's no real struggle for him. Like, again, like even what he saw on that highway was horrific in regards to like a car crash. But as I said, as a highway patrolman, you would have thought
that's his job.
That is dime a dozen.
Yeah.
You see that day in, day out, that kind of horrific like car crashes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yet all it took was one, and he's out of the game. Do you know what I mean? He's gallivanting on Summer's Isle.
He's getting his post sent elsewhere.
To
No, was that out to the station? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you can't send it to an IKEA showroom, can you, Bob? And like when he realises his tapes are missing, he asks. I don't think you ever get a name. All I know is she just seems like a low rent Jodie Foster. Again, this film is like again, just reminding you of like great talent and great films. It's just it's a real fucking punch to the stomach that they keep doing this to us, and we're not even fucking 20 minutes into it. And then we get like possibly the strangest characters of this film. It's two like blind old twins.
They're so shit, man.
Yeah. Who just seem...
Oh, fuck. Of course, it's another reference to fucking Don't Look Now. Because they got the fucking blind woman who can tell the future, right? And stuff. Ah, right. Nice. Nice one,
Here we go.
Buick. Whatever their name is.
And then he has a little nap, and as if we didn't have to be like, we've seen it, but 5 minutes earlier, he's having flashbacks to the boat, but this time it's in black and white and a bit out of focus.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah, and it's...
There's a lot of that.
That should have been kept on the cutting room
It looks
floor.
like a Dido sort of music video. You know what I mean? It's sort of like mid-90s kind of... I'm in the cafe singing my song. You know, it looks like that, but it's supposed to be like a nightmare, reoccurring vision.
And then he has the nightmare of the crash, but is the girl in the car? Is the mum in the car? What's going on? I always went into song there. Is the mum in the car? The kid in the car? And like... He wakes up to the sound of a girl crying in the night. Ooh. Like, nobody bloody wants that, do they? Like, unless you're a parent.
Well, yeah.
And then you do want that, because if your child's not crying in the night, they could
Something
be dead.
It's better to know. It's better to know.
Yeah.
Parenting 101 on the Cajun podcast.
Yeah. Any tips, guys? I'm your guy. 26
cars
Daddy
and kids,
Petros.
you know.
That's me. That's what could be. Who knows? I could have had a kid.
Mate,
I could have had a kid 9 years ago and get a letter, and I'm on the fucking Isle of Sheppey. I'm there.
Papyrus booty call.
Yeah, I'm there on the Isle of Sheppey, and next thing you know, I'm inside a fucking Wicker Man. So I'm going.
Alright, what's next?
God. And he's creeping around at night, and he's into a barn. I thought this was getting a bit Mills and Boone, classic, like old Willow's going to be there. They're going to have a bunk up in the barn.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But then, like, the fucking alien turns up.
No.
No, you get this weird scurrying.
Oh, I saw that.
And he's
There's
just
a
like,
shadow.
and he's like, freak. So he sort of goes into the barn even further. But I swear, it's like, it's something straight out of Alien.
I saw some shadows.
It's a child. Like,
Is it?
it's the little kid, right? Has run off into the barn. He's following her.
Oh.
Like, he sees a little girl out. She runs off into the barn. He follows her. When he gets in the barn, it's like inhumanly fast scurry, and it's and this sort of low level kind of tittering, or like childish noises, and he's straight after it. But it was like, that's a very strange.
But what does he manage to find in the barn though?
Oh, fuck all, except danger.
I can't remember.
Fruit and veg.
Just loads of fruit. And then he falls. And he falls. The floor. And then in that moment,
not
I was
the best
like,
place to store your shit.
I mean, just in the same way as trying to add the bloody bag to just a scene of 3 people, just whatever. I saw in that moment, I was like, right, this is he's trying to make a Hollywood action blockbuster film, and he's creating action scenes where action scenes don't need to be.
I felt this was one of those moments, like I said before, of Nicolas Cage, like, keep this in, because this lets the people know, got a bit of upper body strength.
Oh shit, yeah. One arm pull up, mate. Yeah. He does it. He saves himself with a 1 arm pull up. It's,
So, like, yeah.
Movie magic.
And then that's it. Like, he's just out, he's back, like, he's back to having a nice little sleep. And then the next day, he's just sat there at a table in the bar, just looking perplexed. Around. Just like, kind of like, and like, he has a chat about how there's no honey. Like, yeah, they're not selling any, there's no...
He's got one of those little bears, isn't he? And there's nothing in it.
Store-bought honey. And then notices upon the wall that there's photos that look like some type of harvest ceremony. Yeah. And he's like, where's the newest photo?
But luckily there's someone there to, like, tell him exactly what the photos are of. Why there's one missing, like, oh, that's from the festival we have, the May Day festival, or is it August festival or something. She just goes into it, spills it all out, and he's
and then like, as if he wasn't, like, he doesn't seem that alarmed at, like, oh, that went missing last night. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like I would be off that island. Do you know what I mean? I'd be, no, thank you. Yeah. Or I'm coming back with some more guys. Like, because like, nobody has given him a straight answer.
But he tries to do that, right? That's the whole radio game, right?
Yeah, but too little, too late, Bob. That's about an hour in. So yeah, he finds out that the one is missing, and obviously suspects that photo is of Rowan. And then he asks the poor man's Jodie Foster about Rowan, like, while she's chopping some wood. Yeah. And, like, she kind of says, like, some really cryptic stuff about, like, he asks, like, what's happening, like, the day after tomorrow. And she's like, oh, nothing. And he's like, well, what's happening tomorrow? She's like, I've already told you. And I was like, what?
That's a really weird scene.
Is this film trying to...
It's like trying to make a word game thing out of it. And she's like, I just told you, but you didn't.
Well, like IMDb Trivia said that some of this film is 80% the same. Just out of context. Is that one of those times? Like,
they just put up some random words together like fridge magnets.
Yeah. They've kind of done like a kind of, you hear those stories of like Mick Jagger like writing lyrics for tracks on Exile on Main Street, picking words out of a hat. Like, I think there's one of them where he's like, skydiver, father, like, so just like stuff that rhymes but has no relevance. Which it feels like a lot of the lines.
There's one good. For one. Maybe one of the few moments in this film that actually felt something was in this moment when she looks into Nicolas Cage's eyes and she says, will you take me home with me? Will me take you? Will you take me? The word games have fucked me right up. Yeah. Will you take me home with you? And there was the moment there I was like, this is kind of interesting. Yeah. So there's like, not all of these women on this island actually want to be there. And maybe, like, and it was also kind of a bit sexy on some level. I don't know, but there was something about it. And they portray that one moment later on. They make her into another villain and allow Nicolas Cage to literally drop kick her in the head. Anyway.
He looks super confused and then heads off to the school. Yeah. Which is a fantastic scene. Do you want to take the lead on this one, Tim? Well, what happens?
Yeah, well, he goes into the school hall, and Alma Garrett from Deadwood's teaching the class, and she asks a question like what something about what is the male, and then we got these two little twin kids in the class who were like the phallus, and then Cage, another like classic, sort of opening line is like, "Oh, school's changed a lot since I went," and she's like, "Who the fuck are you coming into my class?" He hasn't introduced himself.
No
yet.
knock at the door.
No, he just walked in, dropped this fucking one-liner during it's probably quite she's teaching serious shit. She's like, "Who the fuck? Don't come in my class."
It's by far one of the clunkiest scenes in the entire film. This scene,
But she's
there's something going on. Their acting is just they're not acting properly. They're not acting how actors normally act.
Well, I feel like some of the direction was like act suspicious, but it's almost like it falls into parody almost of like robotic like.
I'm gonna have to see you outside, mister. It's like that. Proper bad.
And like he like looks at like the empty desk and finds that like there's a fucking crow inside.
Oh yeah.
Of, like, of
Yeah. And he loses it with his little. How could you let him do this?
Yeah, you're liars. You're all liars.
This is one of those where he goes naught to Cage, like that. This is the mark of the man.
This
though.
is probably a good moment, Tim, that we go back to the original Wicker Man. Let's think about that classroom scene. So in that he goes in. He goes in a little bit strong, but he's actually quite polite when he first enters.
Yeah.
He's not going everyone, whatever. He's not telling everyone to shut up. He's quite calm. He sort of starts addressing the children, and then he goes over and he finds a little beetle that's been tied. Like round this little
a nail.
Yeah. And he's like, "Why'd you do it, you weird girl?" or something. She's like, "Oh, kind of thing." It's much spookier. It's all about the atmosphere, and he does get angry because the teacher is, of course, teaching about the phallus and stuff.
But also, it's like the in the classic version. There's sort of why I think it's so beloved like over these years is that there's a real sensitive treatment of some of these pagan belief systems. So she actually the teacher in the Edward Woodward version is actually like, "Oh, what is the maypole?" And they're like, "Oh, it's the representation of the phallus." It looks like that class is following some sort of logic. And that's the brilliant thing about the original is that often when questioned about their pagan beliefs, their answers are actually quite logical, and you can go, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Yeah, and we don't talk about death. Oh, why? Because children find that quite difficult to deal with. That's a fair fit. It's not just we don't talk about it because we're weirdos.
We're spooky.
Whereas in this, he goes in and it's like he's like full on mental. The teacher doesn't seem to have any sort of a lesson plan except just weird shit with crows and stuff. And then like they have some sort of struggle over a register. And then
that is her desk.
There's an empty desk.
There's also a tiny wooden house in the corner I noticed that seems to have no relevance to anything.
Well, there is another.
I was so bedazzled by the acting that I missed that one.
There is another moment when they have a talk outside. Well, there's a reference outside to the maypole,
and it is the same, and you can see the maypole in the distance in the original.
It's the same, but it's shit.
And but she says like he's asking what happened to her, and like it kind of transpires that like he's like, is she dead? And she explains that in their traditions, like
there is no death.
There is no death. Like we become something else. We're a part of the land, and she like lets slip, and it's again massive foreshadowing because she says she'll burn. And then he's very quick to be like, "What'd you say?"
Can I also say that at this point of the film, in the Wicker Man, is this when it cuts to the musical around the maypole, or was that before
he goes in? You got.
So imagine this film, but there was a musical moment just before that classroom where people dance around the maypole.
And there's that weird dude, and he's like, "And on that man was on that woman," and then it's like, "And there grows a tree, and on that tree there was." It's like it's fucking awesome, mate.
It's so great.
Magnet did a job on that.
But also, so what she's referring to when she's talking about this burning, which is this foreshadowing you're talking about, she's talking about the idea there's no death because she, in the original, transmogrified into a rabbit.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, what he would find in the grave. But in this, what does he find in the grave?
The burnt doll, which looks suspiciously like a doll that he picked up.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Earlier on in the movie.
What happens next, Pedro?
Is this what we're doing then? Are we gonna go all the way through? Because I kind of blanked out at this point.
Well, don't worry. Me and Bob are here to hold you up, Tim. He managed to find. Well, he finds Willow by Rowan's grave, supposed grave, and she talks about how there used to be a church here, and says there's a crypt that has a lock on it.
Oh no! But before that, there's another bit because just after he meets the teacher, he meets the teacher again, and he goes, "Didn't I just speak with you?" And she's like, "No." Sorry, go on.
Yeah, and him and Willow talk about how there used to be like, again, it feels like there is a whole like Christian versus pagan thing that is just totally cut out of this version entirely.
Yeah.
That like
I don't know. I mean, I do know why.
Yeah.
It seems obvious why, because America loves Christianity, and what's funny about the Wicker Man is, even though it's Christians versus pagans, it's very much saying they're both kind of dangerous and confusing, and it's not really saying anyone's the hero. Really, it's saying it's all kind of bizarre and superstitious and nonsense in a way. The God can't save the agent. And the pagans' crops aren't necessarily going to get better because of the sacrifice. It's just madmen roaming the landscape, killing each other.
Yeah.
But in this film, they can't possibly say that he's a Christian, because then it would become a sort of different kind of film. Even though at the end they emphasise that he's a martyr and that he will sit among the gods.
Christopher Lee in the original was like, you should be happy to die because you'll die a martyr's death and be with your God. Whereas in this, they don't, because he's not. They've not established he's I don't believe in anything. So they kind of they nick a bit of dialogue, fuck it up, and spew it out.
Yeah. Put it through the sausage.
It makes zero sense.
I mean, put it through the sausage maker and it comes out a dog. I don't know how it works, guys. And then he's asking about who is like Madame Summersisle, like who is Mother Summersisle or whatever. And like again, Willow just seems to give him just shit, like not shit as in like grief, but just like half like, well, the morning will bring us better times to talk, and it's just like, spit it out, like if he cannot see that she is like lying to him, I don't know what he's fucking doing. And then she pulls out her fucking like ace card she has been hiding this whole time, that he is the father of Rowan. Oh, dun.
That's a pointless connection as well.
Yeah, and like, it's like what I don't get is
time.
The maths. Yeah. Surely you'd go, oh, you know what? That kid is X amount of years old. We went out X amount of years ago. 9-month gap. Yeah. That kind of works out.
It definitely seems when they first meet each other, when he meets up with Willow and they're talking about how she used to be married or whatever. That happened early in the film, right? That's when they first.
Well, no, they talk about how like she had an engagement ring and she had kept it.
It's definitely supposed to have been over 10 years ago, right? It definitely feels that way. It can't have just been like. Could it have been 8 years ago? It was about 8 years ago. It's kind of a long time, but it just felt like he should have put 2 and 2 together the moment he read the letter that was talking about a daughter. Yeah, especially as he was fucking engaged to her and she was wearing the...
And there was a photo sent.
It's pointless to talk about plausibility in this fucking piece of wank.
What type of like policeman is he that he can't do a tiny bit of detective work to go, that kid looks fun.
Well, doesn't even say that, doesn't the prick Pete or whatever his name is, doesn't even go do some fucking detective work, man. Look her up or whatever. Like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's no phone signal. Give her a call. No phone signal. Pull it on dial-up. And then Edward is shown to Rowan's room, and it's just been stripped of everything. That was the last place that Willow saw her.
That drawing's kind of cool underneath the desk.
Yeah,
I sort of like that. I thought they did a
little
good
flash.
job of
Yeah.
But I thought that scene is so boring.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait to get out of this blank white room of nothingness.
Well, that room just leaked onto all the performances that were all in it. Like it was turgid. And then he thinks he sees Rowan under the dock when he goes down to because he sees that
important.
He sees that the pilot has come back with more supplies.
That scene. So this is when he's sitting for ages and waiting for ages, and it keeps fading to show you how long he's been sitting there, and then suddenly he's fading into. Well, you don't know it at first, but suddenly he sees a girl underneath the water.
Yeah.
Is that right? And then he dives into the water in a great Nicolas Cage diving scene. I hope that's actually him. Because he does There's a proper great sort of jump. He's like a natural penguin, and he goes right under the water. And it's actually, to be fair, I think the way they do her dead body in the water looks really good.
Oh man! In another film, I'm liking this.
Yeah,
in another film, I'm like, this is pretty cool. It's like Night of the Hunter vibes. This is this is going to be pretty cool.
And also just weird Argento, Mario Bava underwater like corpsey stuff. And I was really digging that stuff. And then basically like is he holding her and then it cuts and he's like, oh thank God it's a dream. Looks down and she's in his arms and then it cuts back again. At that moment I was like, there is no. I mean, already we know this film is bad. Now we know this man can't direct.
Yeah,
he can't even fucking edit. There is nothing. What the fuck? Yeah. I've never seen something that bad in terms of a cut. Well,
it's like a pump fake, and then another pump fake. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's almost like a, I don't know, like a drum roll. One too many. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just like. Neil.
So what happens after that? And then
he goes to see. Well, he strips out to his pants to find out if the pilot has a radio. You know what?
It doesn't.
No radio.
Pointless scene.
So who is he going to see? He's going to see the Doctor. Mm-hmm. Dr. Moss. It sounds like a radio DJ. You're tuned in with Dr. Moss, who is played by Frances Conroy, who is kind of like gained fame probably in later years now as being on American Horror Story. She plays like a lot of like obviously an anthology, so gets lots of different characters.
She's great. Also in 6 Feet Under.
Very can play creepy very well and does it like. Yeah. It feels like she's not given enough to do in this film to like really
she's definitely downplaying it as well. She's like, this is schlock, I'm going to play it like schlock.
Yeah. And like she talks about like how like they've got their ways there, and he's like, right, I better be on. Like you've got nothing for me, and then just hides in the bushes, and she is escorted out like by possibly the creepiest looking people in the film.
I've got to say that's a really good design. Their masks, these red kind of beekeeping mask things with sort of ovals, almost like a sort of submarine suit. I thought that is the only mask that works, other than the bear mask. In the entire film. All the other masks are fucking literally low budget shit. That's the first thing. If you want to know, is this film anything like the original, just compare the fucking masks. There's literally all these look like shop bought fucking Asda masks in comparison, but go on.
And then he sneaks back in, finds that there's loads of like fetuses in jars, and reads up about like their rituals and stuff.
That was
like
alright.
that. It's just standard creepy fare. But I don't know, I just feel like there's enough moments in this film to break you out of it that there should be just a looming tension throughout the whole thing. And it's not. There's not. There should be that kind of cold hand on the back of your neck feeling. Yeah, it's kind of like they try and break it up with like jump scares, which is just cheap and tacky. And then he finds the harvest picture of Rowan and a nice little note on it that says, worst harvest on record. Nice to know that they're keeping records of the harvests, and that was the last one. So what does he do? He goes and has a good old shout at Willow. He's like, "Why did you not bloody tell me that her picture was taken at the worst bloody harvest?" And then things transpire, and they end up having a nice little awkward kiss, real nice
fucking odd kiss.
I think I wrote that down actually. Cop kissing. I think I actually in that moment I kind of understood another. Let's look at what LaBute is up to here. He's gone. What was missing from the original film? So the whole point about we were talking about how Willow earlier is trying to save Agent Howie from the Wicker Man, right? From being there on May Day. But also there's this sexual tension because he's Christian. He can't, even though he wants to, he's pushing his body against that wall. He wants to have sex with Willow, who wants to be into his room, but he can't. He's married, first of all, but secondly, he's just a Christian man. He can't be fucking around with these pagan goddesses. It's just not the case, kind of thing. Whereas in this film, suddenly he's just like, let's fucking make out.
Yeah.
because LaBute is like, what that was missing was a little bit of a kissing.
I bet if he had his way, there would have been like a sex scene. Orgies galore.
Maybe that's what we're missing from the,
That's the hard R. Yeah. That's the hard R. That's the NC-17.
bear costumes, sex orgy.
And he's riding around on this like old bike, which you have no idea if he got it from a nice little rental place. He got it from like
I don't remember. Did he steal it?
No.
No, he just cuts. He's on a bike.
He's on a bike. And I hoped that the director's cut of this, or like there would have been a featurette on the DVD of like the bike tour of like the locations with Nicolas Cage. Like, a lot of like address to camera, like, oh, here we are in the Pacific Northwest. I'm currently just shooting the Wicker Man, and here I am on this lovely bike. Join me as we go have a nice pub lunch, like a kind of like Neil Floyd, like of the.
God, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, like Hollywood, you better be listening. And then he drops the bike though to help these gentlemen with a load of logs, and like,
what is going on there?
He saves a guy's life, yet he's given no thank you, nothing. They just snub him and carry on.
I thought they were going to show that their tongues were removed.
Yeah,
but they never do that. Because they don't talk, and he keeps going, don't talk, buddy, because he saves him, but the guy's like, doesn't say anything. He's like, don't talk, buddy, and I thought, yeah, Nick, because his fucking tongue's been removed, but they never open their mouth to show you that.
Yeah.
Why?
Yes.
Is that something about this cut? Because that would seem like something like that.
I don't know.
Well, maybe he's just keeping it back a little bit of mystery for once. He's sort of giving us everything else. He's like,
I reckon they blew the budget.
Definitely not, because when you see that pilot later, they went to town on that pilot.
Oh yeah,
I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I feel like they blew their budget on that, and they were like,
oh, we can't do a.
It's just better for them to just not talk.
They're just like,
and then he stumbles across a bee farm and has a blackout because he's stung by bees. And
apparently
guess
he's
what?
allergic.
Bloody another flashback with more fucking black and white art.
1990s music video time.
Yeah.
But can we say this though, that when it pans up and you see the hexagonal field, looks pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Good job of that little what they did there, like making that pattern in the ground. It's good.
And he wakes up in Sister Summerisle's home, and like he's got these massive, grotesque lumps on his arms, and he has a little walk into the garden, nice little chit chat with Sister Summerisle, who is just shady from the get go, and talks about like how there is no murder on the island, that things they do are a lot different, and again, this film is just laden with like shoehorned foreshadowing of like things that are to come.
Is this Lady Summerisle, yeah?
It's Lady Summerisle, yeah.
Can we mention that she is the incredible actress from Requiem for a Dream who plays a crazy fucking grandma?
Yeah.
And the fact that she is literally reducing herself to this level. I mean, I have seen her in some sort of trailers for sort of Miley Cyrus films and like it's sort of shit like that. So it's like, you know, it is that kind of same playful. But literally, she can be so good. She's in a lot of Aronofsky stuff actually. She's also in The Fountain and stuff like that. But she's so good. Why the fuck is she in this piece of shit? But I don't know. Why is Nicolas Cage in this piece of shit?
Money. But like another bit of foreshadowing is that she says like some women left to find a man, which is just like maybe it's because I know what is coming, or like it's just all of this stuff. If you just like, there should be a klaxon where it's like, because it's said like those lines are said almost with like an extra emphasis, like find a man, like it's just and then like another great like one liner he has as well is where he's like, nice racket you got going here, ma'am. What the fuck are you going
He really is not being a good cop in this scene. He's not really doing any detective work. He's just hassling an old woman.
He's just hassling everyone. He's hassling everyone. But he goes to do some detective work that night when he goes to dig up Rowan's grave and find the burnt doll.
Good job, Edward.
Yeah.
And then he goes down into the crypt and he goes for a lovely little swim because he thinks he might find some answers there, and one of the tongueless wonders traps him in. And like, this is something I would have loved to have seen in this cut. It's just like, or like a kind of 127 hours style film of just Nick Cage in that crypt holding on to that grate for 12 hours.
He's like, help.
At one point, he screams help, and it cuts to like stock footage of the moon. Just to show how loud he shouted it. Even the moon went, oh, bloody hell. Someone say something. Luckily, Willow's there to help Richie. Like, she's like, you would have thought he's got a fucking GPS tracker on him. Like, she just knows where to find him. She's like Michael Caine in The Weatherman. Just like, fucking appears out of nowhere. So,
but it's sort of, I'm not, at this point I thought, oh, maybe there's some sort of undercurrent going on, like sort of devices being used, because like we've had reference to fire, you know, the burning, we've seen the car go up. Now we've got him trapped in this watery kind of like crypt, and we've had the bees who inhabit the air. He's just dug up the grave, so we've got this sort of elemental themes going on. And I thought, oh, that maybe it will be developed. Maybe we'll find more out like along that line. It just kind of struck me that we're dealing with these sort of ancient pagan rites, and we get these sort of allusions to all the different elements, but it doesn't necessarily transpire. I may have been searching there.
Yeah, that's actually. I want to say that's fucking beautiful, man. That you've clearly injected a lot more poetry into what was going on.
I feel like that is very it's like that kind of sums up the film in a way.
Yeah.
Like it has all these references and points to like things. It's little nuggets of information that remind you of other things, and like greatness
can I say,
is there somewhat.
Obviously, in the original Wicker Man, what we've got the idea of, you know, the sacrifice, the harvest, the cider, or, you know, the beer, I suppose it's cider, isn't it? And, you know, they cut open the barrel and it goes into the water. And it's this kind of introduction, and it's all about the harvest of the place. By adding bees to this film, they didn't. by adding bees to the concept, they didn't add that much. I don't actually dislike the concept of adding bees to it. But what happens is they get very confused because they go like, the harvest didn't work last year, but do you mean the yield of the bees or the harvest of the trees?
Yeah.
Like what do you? It's not supposed to be a rap, by the way. In the bees or the harvest of the trees.
But in the same way that this film is sort of doesn't want to kind of add an implicit critique of Christianity. Also, it doesn't want to add an implicit critique of the imperial relations of the mainland to the island, which we find in the original film.
Yeah.
So when he's like, oh, tinned peaches, like Edward Wood would get served a dinner of tinned peaches, and he's like, on an island famous for its fruit, and at that point, basically at that point, he sort of asked the Willow character, what's going on, and Britt Ekland says to him, oh, they've all been exported. Now we know that the harvest might have found, but because it's a good film, nothing's given to you straight away. But just this notion that this island is able to function because it takes part in this kind of capital relation to the mainland of growing fruit and exporting it, and that is why Lord Sumrall, this fucking dick, basically, who doesn't even believe any of this shit, is able to keep this whole shit show functioning. There's this sort of like where like the primitive peoples of the island are allowed to do what they want because the mainland is like taken from them.
Wait, you think that Lord Sumrall doesn't believe that?
There's that bit.
I never even considered that.
There's the bit where he says, "Well, my great grandfather came here because he noticed that there was a Gulf Stream." Yeah. And things would grow here, and he realised that was good. But in order to get the locals on board, who weren't up for growing things, he reintroduced some of these sort of like Fraser Golden Bough style ancient rites. So he sort of explains that his like this sort of Scots laird who took over this island reintroduced all these rituals. And so Lord Sumrall, I think he's a complicated character because I think he's a bit like Lear at the end of King Lear. He's sort of like he's reckless with his sort of governance of this island. He doesn't really give a shit. He just wants to give over to nature, whether or not he believes in it. Like at the end when he says, "I wholeheartedly believe," I don't believe he does wholeheartedly believe. I think he knows he's fucked next year, but he's allowed to do all this, and
fruit's not meant to grow on this island.
Fruit is not meant to grow on the island, and it's to do with, and I think that there's this is a long-winded way of saying, I think that there's a critique of capital and imperialism in the original film. This film doesn't want to do either. So I've forgotten how, like. So it's like you don't get the Christian stuff. You don't get that. So it's just like. Oh, anyway, yeah. So how the fuck? What were we?
That's beautiful.
We were talking
the Wicker
about
Man.
how Edward shows Willow the burnt doll and exclaims, "How did it get burned?
How did it get burned? How did it get burned?"
Like if you don't know the first time, just ask louder.
Yeah.
Like if we've all been to holiday abroad, obviously, if you don't know how to say something in a foreign language, just say it loud and slowly. Is what he does, and then he exclaims to her that something bad's going to happen.
Yeah,
I can feel it. Like you haven't had a good fucking hunch this whole time.
Yeah.
How do you know something bad is going to happen?
I reckon it's pretty fucking obvious something bad's going to happen. Though.
He's just been locked.
But why is he like, go home, something bad's going to happen? He's like telling her, just like, why is she?
That scene almost felt improv. It was so bad.
Yeah.
I just couldn't work out anyway.
Well, the next part of this film, I'm kind of going to rattle through because my notes on this are very like scattershot.
Chaos.
It's like bang, 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 bang.
I want to
bang.
get to the fucking leopard dude. Let's just go.
But like this is like we have here like that's why I'm going like up pace is because we have an enraged Cage. Yeah. He is fucking a man, like a man with a purpose. He's got a fire in his belly. Maybe that's the foreshadowing right there. Mm-hmm. And he storms the place looking for answers, looking for people, looking for like Sister Summerisle. He storms into one room, does not find Sister Summerisle, but he finds a warty naked man.
Oh, best bit of the film, mate. Awesome.
That was fucking brilliant.
I guess it's fucking shining when he sees that like fucking warthog thing giving a blowy to that bloke in the.
Oh, the Shining.
Yeah, it's just the fucking
the
Shining.
Man,
Dog
man,
bear
costume.
Dog bear pig thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the bit. That immediately I was like, oh shit. Then
another slow wait for the portal. But then so he goes into another room, and now he sees a woman smiling with some bees.
Yeah, just like cloaked in bees, like.
What I didn't get is like
it's like that Magna's advert where he has that bee, but she's just got like a bee dress.
And then we have like Sister Summerisle, which like looks like she's on the set of one of those films. Like she's like.
Mate, it's like Eartha
300 or like
like
Immortals. Like everything is in this like kind of glow of like CGI white, and like nothing looks real. Nothing like everything looks synthetic. Yeah. And I just didn't fucking understand it. Like.
No, I thought it looked a bit like a sort of Kanye West music video as well. Like he's going to zoom in and he's going to be like, it's talking in the Molin.
I know the exact way you're thinking. I think it's the Power video. Come on, man, get hold this power. This tableau. And then he finds the teacher dressed as a crow. Again, this is the first sign of one of these shitty store-bought masks that Bob was talking about.
Piece of shit.
And she keeps quoting Don Quixote to him, doesn't she? Because she mentions a line about like, oh, you're still trying to like push over windmills or something like that.
Yeah.
And then like he just loses his shit. He's like, step away from the bike.
What does this have to do with Don Quixote?
He nicks it and he's off. And then the old fucking blind twins are there again, aren't they? They fucking poke their head up.
Oh, brilliant.
He tries to get the men, like, who are just having a nice little quiet...
Yeah.
His family fine lads night at the bar. Nobody wants to help. Nobody utters a peep. He then starts searching houses. He goes into one house. He's like fucking kicking things in, and then a little girl jumps out of a cupboard.
Classically,
straight out the back door. He seems to know like the layout of people's houses very well. And then again, we just get a shot of him kicking in a door. That's no relevance. He does nothing, and then it just cuts to him back on his bike, and then he runs to the shore and finds that the plane has sunk.
Oh.
And then when he turns to go back to the island, he finds that the pilot has been savagely murdered.
He literally, they did a really good job of that. It looked really scary. What was going on with his hand?
Had they like fucking picked his arm to shreds? Like,
I mean, it looked really scary.
It looked like his mouth had been sewn shut as well, like almost like a message to say here's what happens when you talk.
But a message to who? Because it's not going anywhere. But still, that was really scary. I thought it was really well done.
And this is what I alluded to earlier by saying by having a small biplane, that's a way they can kind of
Oh, I missed one thing, by the way. In that bit where it cuts to the Walkman, the soundtrack for the first time in the whole film makes a noise that's a little bit like twang, which is the noise in the original Wicker Man. But it never tries that ever again. Just in that one moment, it was like, we got to have a twang moment. Where, you see something spooky.
Yeah, and they pop up.
Exactly.
Well, speaking about the soundtrack, one of the things this does a lot is these horrible pitch bends where it's like,
that's what it's trying to.
And it's like, oh, fuck off, guys. And then he finds that the pilot is dead, and then comes in and just twats Sister Beach straight in the face and goes to start putting on her bear costume, ready for the ceremonies. And then this is kind of intercut with the ceremony is starting to take place. You have Sister Summer Isle and the other inhabitants kind of getting their shit together, heading over to the party station. And then he dresses. Well, he has a fight with
the girl that he shouldn't have had a fight with. Is the thing. She should have remained as a character who was trying to escape or had dreams of escape. Who wasn't involved in it, but instead they have to make her a villain as well. And it literally, it's the most intense moment of male on female violence in the entire film when he literally plants his boot in her face in the air, and she kind of dies.
Yeah, I'm not
but she
sure
doesn't die because of the James
I'm not sure she does die. He then dresses as the bear, and he's on his way to join the procession with the rest of the inhabitants of Summer Isle, and then catches up with Willow, and he's like, oi, here I am, in a bear costume.
That's a bad call, isn't it?
Yeah, not Sister Beach, it's your boy. And then he finds Rowan tied to a tree, and he's like, oh fuck, they're going to sacrifice her, and legs it in, twats the woman who's keeping guard, and
takes the kids,
and this is a moment of all the times that his phone rings, and who is it? It's fucking Pete. I was like, yes, calling the Air Force. Do you know what I mean?
He's just like, help!
Yeah. Maybe there was maybe I thought Pete's going to call in the Air Force. It's going to be a napalm attack. We're going to have a reference to another great film, Apocalypse fucking Now. Let's just have them waves on the portal to every fucking great that there's been. Do you know what I mean? If you looked very closely at that scene of the moon as well, you saw a little bike go past. With an alien in a basket at the front. Nice little wink to fucking Stevie Spielberg. Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. So him and Rowan are off just having a little meander around the woods, do a bit of orienteering, hiding from the people, just casual.
That mirrors the cave scene where he runs through the cave. Yeah,
but this is the sort of we're leading up to the final moment, and what it is it's like a middle-aged bloke in a fucking weird bed costume trying to keep up with a little. Oh, don't run so fast! Don't run so fast! That's the lead up to the finale. Is just him puffed out in a bear outfit.
Yeah, and not even the full costume.
No, he's taking the hat off.
It's down to the waist. I don't know.
It's sort of it's a strange costume as well. You call it a bear costume. In your head, you've got something a little bit cooler. Like this is sort of like a weird netting as well. So it's sort of weird. He's getting caught in it as he walks through the briar.
Well, he kind of just looks like a children's entertainer on a lunch break.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That is
he's just finished the job,
Yeah,
He's just
it's like Fort Park, and he's just sort of like...
Yeah, and one of the kids has been a bit unruly, and he's like, "Oh, don't run away, don't run away." Look, it's like he's dressed up as a bear at a kid's like costume at a kid's party, and now he's trying to like show one of the kids like,
"No, it's all
I'm
right.
not a bear. I'm not a bear.
It's all
I'm
right.
a man. I'm a man. I'm a weirdly receding man you've never met before, but I'm a man."
Yeah, his hair in this as well.
Oh.
Like Crow, like it's turned like it's like his hairline is like full on like Crow now.
It's awful.
I mean,
it's been bad.
I mean, you live in the Cage bubble, right? So you've seen this slowly go back, but like when you get invited into it, and you're just like, no, it's astonishing that this is a leading actor, this is a leading man in films, because he's not a great actor. He's not the best of actors. So you think, you know...
What do you mean, Tim?
I know,
Bloody get out.
Yeah.
And he, like, Rowan leads him to the rest of the group, and it was their ploy all along. As if he didn't see that coming a mile off.
He had no idea.
Oh, he's a fucking buffoon, that's why. And then it just kind of, it's like exposition. It's like really spoon feeding the audience here, because like Sister Summer Isle just like goes, "This is why you're here. This is what it's all about. Like, this is what we do. Like, we've had this planned for years. You know, the time you first ever met Willow, yeah, that was planned."
My
it's
daughter.
Yeah, the thing is, I didn't care.
Why does everyone have to be related all the time?
I didn't care when it's like a daughter. Like, it kind of you expected to be some kind of like M. Night Shyamalan, like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's a ghost. Oh, and it was like, it wasn't. It was more like a kind of like,
so what?
Yeah. Give a shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, I don't know. And it's like, how? I just don't get.
Is it some sort of like weird misogynist mother-in-law joke then? Have they just sort of like, is she like hit, like, what the fuck? Like, is she just like the ultimate tyrannical mother-in-law who sort of I don't understand.
I don't know that. I think I don't know if that's true, but what I know is that there is definitely a vibe throughout the whole film of kind of a sort of, it's trying to play on the fear of feminism.
Yeah.
Which is
but it's just, but the film is, the thing is, it's like coming into it, I knew that it was
feminine exploitation.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a movie like about an island of and I was sort of like, oh, I bet it's going to be dodgy, you know. And I was like, oh, I bet it's going to have some real. But the thing is, the film's just so fucking shit. There's so much bad about it that actually that's not even that much of a strain in it.
But to be fair, like, it is unusual unless it's a film where you're really meant to see that your main character as being a bad guy, or kind of an anti-hero.
Yeah,
it's rare to see a guy punch as many women in the face as Nicolas Cage does in this film.
And you're supposed to be rooting for him. Like, that's what I don't get.
Or are you? Because as Tim was saying, in the original Wicker Man, you're not necessarily supposed to be rooting for Howie, right?
No, I wouldn't say at all. Yeah.
So are we supposed to be rooting for him?
I think in this you're meant to.
I think in this you're meant to, because
he saves kids from cars and shit.
Yeah, and they portray everyone else to be so sinister, like from the get go. Yeah. It's not even like you were saying. It's not like in the original where there's like a kind of like local idiot, like, do you know what I mean? Kind of simpleton vibe. It's just everyone is just like kind of, do you know what I mean? They're like
they're out to get him from the beginning. It's really
They're like people you'd see working in like a haunted house. They just look like a menagerie of like freaks and weirdos, like. And like they act in a very peculiar manner.
It's interesting that what LaBute thought of the original was, you know, if only everyone here was women, that would make that scarier.
Yeah, it's,
you know,
it just seems like a very lazy, like, do you know what I mean? Like he did with like Death at a Funeral. Like later on, he said, "Oh, wouldn't this be great if everyone was black?"
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean?
That's
it's
a twist.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And it's like, it seems like that is his vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, oh, Only Fools and Horses. Like, what would that be like if? I don't know. Like,
they're in space.
It's raining. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's raining
all the time.
a couple of Israeli brothers. Like, do you know what I mean? It's crazy. But like after this, like kind of whimper of a bombshell of everything they said, like again, I just want to like mention the point that like this seems like a very long-winded affair just to get a sacrifice for their island. That they have played a serious long game, which like what spanning 10 years.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Just to kill some dude. But obviously he is supposed to be related, which is the important.
So did they know 10 years ago that the crop was going to fail?
Yeah, that's why I don't get that. It's like they. What?
Yeah.
Or have they just got him on? They've got him on standby.
They've probably got loads on standby, haven't they?
I see.
He's on the back burner.
Yeah.
Like that milk that never goes off. Like he's
he's basically like UHT. Like he just sort of sits there.
Yeah, he's like a can of beans at the back of the cupboard, just gathering
They're
dust.
Like, things aren't going well, but he's on toast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's like that can of beans you have on the fucking 28th of the month when the money's run dry. That's what they essentially treated him like. Oh fucking hell, get that one off the back burner. And he is like, I don't know if this is a good shot, but like it's just an aerial shot of him kind of trying to fend off against everyone closing in on him.
He does a few good kicks.
Yeah, and he's like just bang, 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 twatting people left, right, and centre, and then like they like beat him up, and he's just screaming like you bitches, like this is really, this is really what just really drives home like a kind of nasty, misogynistic, like horrible taste in the mouth.
Killing me won't bring back your honey. I'm not even one of you.
Like whenever he talks to a woman in it, he calls them honey. So when the little girl's in the car at the beginning, he calls her honey. He keeps on calling Willow honey. They're making honey on this island. So I think there's another attempt at
when he says killing me won't bring back your honey. No one has said that the bees stop producing honey.
It's about a harvest.
It's about a harvest. So why does he say that?
Because the Neil LaBute has a fundamental doesn't understand how bees work. He's decided to make a film about bees.
God.
Doesn't
literally get a bee expert in there, mate.
But yeah, just
come on,
fucking
and then
sickening shit. But
they pull out the hobbling post and fucking break both of his legs. Again, one of the people who it cuts to as this happened is Sister Beach, the poor man's Kathy Bates. And it's just another reminder of misery.
Yeah.
Waving in that sea of shit.
But to be fair, I don't think they... I was trying to work out how they did it. It looked to me like Nicolas Cage is lying down, and then they've got two wooden chair legs and put them in some trousers.
Oh yeah.
And then they just smash the chair legs. But to be fair, I was still a bit like, that's not nice. So I think they did kind of a good job of that. But every time the man yields his hammer, what they did, they show some sort of dodgy, sort of like Asda Price Shaman, but then they slow-mo it into sort of the most fragmented, once again, Dido music video, just for a second, and then the hammer slams down. Why didn't they just have a guy with a hammer just smash the leg?
Yeah.
There's no reason for this weird cutaway. Anyway.
And then we are brought to the big guns. As if the guy hasn't suffered enough, they bring out a helmet and fill it full of bees, which, like, I'm not sure if any of you have been living in a cave for for the last 12 years, but you must have seen the clip.
Yeah.
Not the bees. But it's quite underwhelming in the actual film, isn't it? Like,
Shall I tell you what was overwhelming? It might just be the size of your TV or the HDness of it, but I saw how shit those bees were.
They were fucking
they were
awful.
It literally looked like someone had copy-pasted bees over his face.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Like all of their legs were moving uniformly in the same way.
Yeah, they're just like laying on top of each other. They're almost like scales of something. Like, anyway.
And then he is placed in the Wicker Man through some like nice little pulley system they've got there.
I'm glad they
into
got
the
there,
engineering corner of the show.
That Wicker Man is fucking well built. That's one thing I was thinking. I was like, they did a good job of that.
Yeah.
But he's not the only sacrifice. There's also like loads of animals.
There's goats and stuff, just like in the original. Yeah. I thought they did. I don't think the Wicker Man's as big as the one in the original Wicker Man. I thought it was a bit smaller. But I was just impressed that they physically built it. They didn't do some dodgy CGI shit. It just until the end when the head falls off. I think that's CG.
Yeah.
But I think it was really well done, and I imagine all the guys making it must have been really cool to see it actually go on fire. All the cast and crew must have been like, "Fuck!" It must have been like a really, this fucking film's over, man. Like,
Yeah, I'm hoping that was the last episode of the shoot, or was it? Because the Wicker Man, the head falls onto the camera, and then I managed to find online, for the wonders of YouTube, a scene I had heard had happened. It wasn't in the cut we had found, so I don't know if it was in the director's cut or the theatrical, but it cuts to Papyrus letting us know it's 6 months later in a bar back on the mainland, and we have a familiar face, and that face belongs to a young actor by the name of James Franco.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so weird. It's so wacky, man.
Yeah.
So it's girls being picked up in a bar by James Franco, and the idea is they will eventually harvest James Franco.
Well, yeah,
because he's a cop.
The women that he is talking to are Willow and the poor man's Jodie Foster, who was
a drop kicked in the face. Should have had a little scar or something.
Like I think maybe this might have been cut because maybe in this version that bit was put back in where he drop kicks her and like she's dead.
Oh, no, actually, but then I realised, just after you went, or is she, then I remembered that she's the one who starts rubbing her nipple through her blue, fluffy...
Oh, yeah, as the Wicker
Man.
Right. Yeah.
So she's clearly very much alive and unscathed by the dropkick.
Yeah, so it's like setting up for a sequel that...
should never...
Yeah, is essentially going to be exactly the same as the film we've just seen.
Yeah.
So she's there, and so he's a cop in California. And then right at the very end, you know when you said that there was a bit earlier in the movie that you actually really quite liked when she said, "Take me home with you." At the end of this film, that same poor man's Jodie Foster repeats the same line to James Franco. She says, "What are you doing after this?" He's like, "I'm going home," and she's like, "Oh well, will you take me home with you?" Film ends.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't end like that. It ends with the screams.
Oh shit! No, yeah, of course.
Like Nicolas Cage in The Wicker Man.
Yeah.
And like, I like to think that maybe it wasn't for a sequel, but like possibly just to show that like this cycle is endless.
Never ends.
Yeah, it will never end. Mm-hmm. They will always find another sacrifice. They will and they got away with it. Like,
and then when the credits roll suddenly for Johnny Ramone.
Yeah. I actually found out this was dedicated to Johnny Ramone at the request of Nicolas Cage, because Johnny Ramone had actually shown him the original Wicker Man in the first place.
My God, that is insane.
And
whoa, fucking hell.
This is like a weird art project.
Sitting with fucking Johnny Ramone watching The Wicker Man. That is fucking brilliant.
The book. Oh man.
Yes, The Wicker Man took my baby away. Robin Hardy, the writer of the original film, and Christopher Lee have been very, very critical of this remake. With Robin Hardy actually like asking for his name to be taken off
Really?
off the film entirely. Yeah. It's like
so
why in the beginning
Robin
credits
Hardy.
it has no reference to his name at all. Even though I believe in the closing credits there may be a reference to him, that may just be solely a legal
copyright.
a legal standpoint. But like Christopher Lee, like Robin Hardy, we also thought this film was a pile of shit.
There really is no salvaging it, but I do think there is some joy in watching Nicolas Cage ramble about the forest, sometimes on bikes, sometimes not, sometimes punching women.
Would you recommend people watch this film, Tim?
Absolutely not. No.
Even in, I was going to follow that up.
Only as a comparative religion, which is a line from the original. So yeah,
What about you, Bob? Would you recommend this in any capacity to anyone? Like,
I think if you're feeling sleepy and you want a nice sleep, I think this. But I genuinely think there's a time and a place. I thought this was a good atmosphere / environment for this film.
Yeah, I think
there is something funny about watching it.
Well, this film, like many others, like we kind of live in this weird post-modern society, in that like there is a joy to be had in like schlocky like films that just didn't quite hit what they set out to intend to do. Like, obviously we've seen it in like modern times, like how big the room is, and like it's the kind of like I don't even going back as far as like I don't know, they've kind of developed that status that like the Rocky Horror Picture Show used to have. But like they are just like
campy terror. Yeah,
but that film was like in its own right nailed what it intended to do. Yeah. Whereas these are just like people. This has developed a cult following, possibly because of Nicolas Cage's unintentionally funny delivery of stuff, and just the humour that runs throughout the film. That is just.
I'd like to coin a term as a first on the Occasion podcast, which is B-sploitation, and I think that's what this film is.
Yeah. You fucking nailed it.
I know, just to add to that, and then the last scene, while the very many shop-bought pagans are watching Nicolas Cage burning the Wicker Man and chanting "Death to the drone! Death to the drone!" There's literally a child in a bee costume, and it's not even. They've made no effort to make it look pagan. It's just a shop-bought bee costume.
So, how do we think this film rated online, guys? So we're thinking
Rotten Tomatoes, is it?
Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and
I'm gonna go fucking 4.6 on IMDb.
I'd say maybe a 3.2 or something on IMDb.
So IMDb, we are looking at a 3.7 out of 10. So Bob is our winner this week. Rotten Tomatoes. This is a whole punnet full. 15%.
Oh,
a real stinker. And Metacritic gave this film 36% with a Google user score of 53%. Like this film. Do you know what that says about Google users? Half of them are fucking idiots.
Well, but don't be careful, don't alienate the fucking listeners, man. They could be,
Come on, guys. You must know what's going on. Hopefully, a lot of you use Yahoo and don't use Google, so you're all right in my book.
AOL till I die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ask Jeeves. Let's get Jeeves up in the place. So I guess, I've got a couple of questions for you guys. One of those is, in regards to remakes, what is your favourite remake? I'll start off with you, Bob.
Oh, that is really tough. Oh, God, I really haven't considered this one enough. I'm trying to think. My favourite remake?
I can't even...
I'm trying to think of something that really nailed it. Nothing's coming into my mind.
What's yours, Petros? What's yours?
It's a bit of a cheat, this one, but could you say 12 Monkeys? Because it is technically a remake of a short film.
Legette.
Yeah.
Wow. I've never even seen that. I've heard good things about that. Though.
That's a good remake. The original is still fucking brilliant as well, though, for what it is. But, oh, man.
Yeah, that's...
Dude.
I think I'm getting through on a technicality there. So, obviously, if you guys can't answer that question, another question I have for you is... If a remake were to be made of any film with Nicolas Cage in a starring role or a character in it, what would be your ideal casting for a remake?
So I could remake anything, but with Nicolas Cage.
I'm gonna go shot for shot remake. Citizen Kane, Nicolas Cage playing all the roles.
Citizen Cage.
Citizen Kane. Oh, mate.
Well, I'm not sure if you guys have seen online lately. There's some kind of it's called deep fake or something like that. Well, it's this kind of.
What you been watching?
Well, it's an algorithm-based thing that can people have utilised it to put Nicolas Cage's face on actors in any film, and like
mate.
the software has like gathered some hot water because people have been using it to just like put anyone's face on porn stars and stuff like that, which obviously has some legal ramifications. But seeing Nicolas Cage
does it look good, or does it?
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Right.
There's footage of like Nicolas Cage as like Sean Connery in the like Bond films, and also as like Indiana Jones, like
oh my god,
and a young Han Solo. It looks fantastic. One of the scariest ones is him as Amy Adams in Man of Steel. It's terrifying because I felt so attracted to him. But yeah, what would be your ideal?
I was gonna say Taxi Driver with Cage in the De Niro role.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking Taxi Driver, but him as the Jodie Foster role. No, I think as like a kind of side thing to that, I think he would be perfect because there's a lot of talk at the moment. Like I've been looking on Twitter and a lot of people going on about like how the Joaquin Phoenix like is likely to play the Joker in a Darren Aronofsky like Batman film.
Sorry, I just came up with my answer from earlier. Vanilla Sky, perhaps one of my favourite remakes. Better, I think, than Abre Los Ojos. I think better. Sorry, go on. No, just to answer a question from earlier.
No worries.
Right,
a lot of people online have been calling for Nicolas Cage to be the Joker. I think obviously a lot of that is just like people having japes and stuff like that. He is kind of like the walking meme that he's become. But that had me thinking that he would actually play a perfect Two-Face.
Ooh.
Because he has the like steely like kind of like concern about him that could like nail Harvey Dent, but also has that like wiry like caginess about him that could definitely nail.
And he's used to doing some crazy face shit as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm thinking him and Travolta split the role.
Bang them together, cut and shunt.
Bang, bang. Well, guys, as always, I have been Petros Patsilivus.
I've been Bob.
I'm with Tim.
We've been caged in. You've been hopefully sat at home, building together some sticks. You're looking at your pet cat and thinking, you know what? Mum wasn't done a good job on the shopping this week. Mum hasn't done a good job on the shopping this week. You know what will help that for next week? We're going to put the cat in there. We're going to get the gerbil in there. Dad's being a bit of a prick. He's related to the family. We're going to get him in our wooden structure. We're going to burn them all. And then maybe next week, Ocado will have a lot better shopping for us. You have also been lovely. Bye.